You might be setting up your kids to pay more in taxes than necessary, and nobody likes that. My name is Mike Crumley. I'm one of the advisors here at Harford Retirement Planners, and this has been a topic of conversation we've had in a few different client meetings this week, and I figure, you know what, they're probably not the only ones with these questions, so let's make a video and let's talk about it. So why should you not add your children or your beneficiaries to your house while you're still alive? So let's use a real world example. Let's say that 50 years ago you purchased your home for $100,000. And let's say right now it's worth $1 million and you could turn around and sell it tomorrow. If you're still alive and you sell that same property for $1 million, you are going to owe capital gains tax on the difference between the purchase price to the sale price. So in this case, $900,000 is subject to capital gains tax. Let's use 15% as our baseline capital gain tax number. And there's a little capital gain exclusion that's going to help that if it's your primary residence. But no matter what, we're still talking about a six-figure, $100,000 tax bill. If you pass away with that home and your children inherit it through the will or through your estate planning documents, they get what's called a step up in basis, meaning the value that they inherited the home for, if they turn around and sell it at that same price, that's their new purchase price, and there is no capital gain tax to pay. They sell it for $1 million, they turn around and they get $1 million in their pocket minus transaction costs. No capital gain tax to consider. But if we had put their name on the deed while you are still alive, they do not get that step up in basis, and their original purchase price looks like yours from way back 50 years ago, that $100,000 number, and they are subject to that same capital gains tax that I mentioned earlier if you were the one to sell the property. So it's usually the best intentions possible. I want to make this easy for my children. I want them to just be able to step right into the house. Their name is already on it, make it as simple as can be. But that just doesn't take into consideration the tax ramifications. So let's say that this same exact situation was an investment property, not your primary residence. Well, if you're working with an accountant and let's say that investment property had been rented out throughout the years, you're probably depreciating the property. And we've seen it before where that depreciated value can go down to nearly $0. If you're alive and you sell that property for $1 million and it had been depreciated down to zero, that introduces a topic called depreciation recapture. What that means is that, hey, we depreciated it down to zero, but the original purchase price was $100,000. That difference is subject to ordinary income rates, not just capital gain rates, which would still apply on the difference between the $100,000 to the $1 million sale price. Now, if the same property passes through your will naturally, your children still get that step up in basis, and this depreciation recapture idea does not apply. They could turn around, inherit it at $1 million, sell it for $1 million. There's no capital gain tax due, even if you had depreciated it down to $0 throughout the last 50 years. And really, this just highlights the importance of proper estate planning. A lot of times people have the best intention possible. They want to make things easy for their children. They want it to just pass naturally without any hoops to jump through and make things simple. There's just massive tax consequences we need to make sure we consider and want to avoid at all costs. So whether it's an investment property or your primary residence, you had the best intentions in mind. You wanted this to pass to your children easy and smooth. Let's just make sure we're not paying more in taxes than we need to. So if you have any questions about your specific financial situation, please feel free, hop on our website. You can schedule a meeting or a phone call. We would be happy to discuss your specific situation. Thank you for watching.